back to the news at 10. The Federal High Court in Lagos has adjourned the suit filed by wife of the former President Goodluck Jonathan, Patience, to take possession of a sum of $15.5 million seized last year by the Economic and Financial Crimes Commission. Mrs. Jonathan filed the suit last year to challenge the no-debt order placed by the EFCC on the bank accounts of 4 companies linked with the former Special Advisor on Domestic Affairs to the ex-president. The companies are Pluto Property and Investment Company Limited, Seagate Property Development and Investment Company, Transocean Property and Investment Company, and the Development Company Limited and Globus Integrated Service. The case has now been adjourned to November the 2nd. Staying with legal matters, a Federal High Court sitting in Abuja has struck out an ex parte motion for substituted service on Senator Dino Melaye, filed by the Independent National Electoral Commission. The trial judge, Justice Nnamdi Dingba, struck out the motion following a request by INEC's lawyer to withdraw the motion on the ground that it was not the right application to make at the current stage in the case. In the motion dated September the 15th, INEC had asked for the court's permission to serve through substituted means the petition for the recall of Senator Dino Melaye and related documents on him, as ordered by the court in its September the 11th judgment. The court had in its judgment on the fundamental rights suit, which Mr. Melaye challenged the recall process, ordered INEC to serve Senator Melaye in person with the petition for his recall, accompanying signatures and other documents relating to his recall. The judge explained that since there was evidence that Melaye's appeal had been entered at the appeal court, his court could no longer entertain any application, and all further applications should be sent to the appeal court. It's almost 1 year since the launch of the National Homegrown School Feeding Program, and the federal government had explained that the initiative was conceived to address problems of malnutrition, especially regarding primary school students. On our big story tonight, we examine the level of implementation in some states and the challenges ahead of the meeting the target of feeding over 5 million pupils by 2017.
Is the difference? Nothing tastes like my Indomie.
The National Homegrown School Feeding Program was launched by the federal government in October 2016. It was conceived to address the problems of malnutrition and encourage learning amongst primary school pupils. The program is designed to be funded by the federal and state governments on a 60-to-40 ratio counterpart funding. So far, about 3 million pupils from over 19,000 primary schools in 14 pilot states have been covered under the program, with Kaduna State having the highest number of schools and school children benefiting from the program. This is closely followed by Benue State. Others are Zamfara, Bauchi, Osun, Taraba, Oyo, Anambra, Enugu, Ebonyi, Ogun, Plateau, Delta, and Abia states. Although capital intensive, the free feeding program in Kaduna State has increased school enrollment by 60%. During its official launch, Governor Nasir El-Rufai explained that the program is to ensure that no child is denied access to basic education, no matter their background.
It is a challenge in terms of its scale, cost and logistics required to deliver the meals every day. But our children deserve this and more.
The implementation of the program in Bauchi State lasted for only 1 week before schools went on vacation. However, 2 weeks into a new academic session, the program is yet to resume.
We have expended the monies given to us before the schools went on holiday. We have now placed our request before the National Social Investment Office for them to found the cook's account again for us to check the second round of the feeding.
One of the beneficiaries is Saadu Zunguru Model Primary School. Pupils here could still recall the menu that was last served.
Rice, yam, and beans with pure water and limca or coke.
The school feeding program started in Osun State almost a year before it was launched by the federal government. It boosted the enrollment of pupils in public primary schools.
The enrollment is not static, but we realized that when we started, we had a 25% increase, in enrollment, because school feeding is like a magnet that attracts pupils to schools.
While the program seems to be going smoothly in 14 states, its execution is yet to kick off in other states. While Lagos State is still expecting counterpart funding from the federal government, the Edo State Universal Basic Education Board, SUBEB, is working out the necessary modalities for the commencement of the exercise.
With everything that we have done, with the vendors being verified, with the issue of accountability, and those who are supposed to be the community involvement, and mobilizing the people to know their rights as stakeholders, to report where there are infractions, by the grace of God, very soon, I can assure you that will be on course.
The federal government, through the program, targets to feed 5.5 million school children by the end of 2017. That for now seems like a tall order, with only a few months left.
Taste is the difference. Nothing tastes like my Indomie.
Nigerian Breweries PLC has commenced the 10th edition of the Don't Drink and Drive campaign, organized in partnership with the Federal Road Safety Corps. The Corporate Affairs Advisor of the company, Kufrin Ekanam, at a briefing in Lagos, said the sustenance of this initiative for 10 years is no doubt a demonstration of the company's commitment to the promotion of safety on Nigerian roads. This year's campaign will see 3 mega rallies in Abuja, Lagos and Enugu states.
It's the Ember month again, and this time is usually associated with frequent road crashes. But Nigerian Breweries PLC is resolute about safety on the roads. Having reached popular motor parks in 39 cities and towns in Nigeria with enlightenment campaigns for over 16,000 drivers and road users, the company is announcing the 10th edition of the Don't Drink and Drive campaign.
The program was designed to improve safety on Nigerian roads. The sustenance of this initiative for 10 years is no doubt a demonstration of our commitment to the promotion of safety on Nigerian roads. We are pleased that the 3 cities that have been selected for this year for the mega rallies would be the Federal Capital Territory, Abuja, Lagos, and Enugu.
Nigeria Breweries is not alone. The Federal Road Safety Corps has been a worthy partner, ensuring that many more drivers and road users are reached.
I wish to commend the management of Nigerian Breweries PLC for this sustained partnership and urge other corporate bodies in the public and private sector to join us in this crusade to address the menace of road crashes, especially those associated with drunk driving, even as we all road users, to embrace responsible drinking habits to further entrench sanity.
For the brewing giant, this is part of its sustainability agenda.
As you may be aware, this partnership, which is a major pillar of our responsible consumption campaign, is part of our long-term strategic sustainability agenda, which we tag Brewing a Better World. This initiative falls squarely into the advocating responsible consumption and still links to the 5th one, which is promoting health and safety.
The promotion of safety on our roads is a collective responsibility, so it's asking Nigerians to join hands and do this during the Ember months and beyond.
Let's take a look at some business news now. Here's Melinda Akinlami.
You first. First Bank.
Thank you so much, Ijoma. Welcome to Business News. Regulators, operators and participants in the Nigerian debt market exploring ways to improve transparency and disclosures. This discussion formed part of the annual conference organized by FMDQ Securities Exchange in Lagos today, which drilled down on the 2 pillars and even more.
Nigeria's FMDQ OTC Securities Exchange is the rallying point for domestic capital, foreign exchange and derivatives trading. Known for its revolution in price formation, innovative listings and continuous information disclosure, these delegates see the room for more groundbreaking developments in the emerging local markets.
While the Nigerian financial market has advanced significantly over time in terms of institutions, processes and regulations, and have embraced technology, it is important that we continue to challenge ourselves to meet the needs and expectations of issuers of securities and investors whom the market seeks to serve and to attract.
All of Nigeria's challenges, without exception, have debt capital market solutions. We can finance and invest in and develop our physical and social infrastructure. It's that infrastructure which will enable you to diversify an economy.
The Nigerian debt capital market has been ramping up with some global visibility, but foreign investors and analysts say more guarantees from the fiscal authorities will make them more comfortable.
This economy has been subject to an unusual amount of volatility, all associated with the same key macroeconomic risk, a potential collapse or an outright collapse in oil-related earnings, and there doesn't seem to be a mitigant in place.
The ball is in your court, the debt capital market, to come up with instruments that meet the return requirements of pension funds.
Perhaps the answer lies in the adaptation of some advanced debt capital market models.
We now need to come together to discuss how can we accelerate the development of the debt capital market so that we can have the magnitude of financing for private sector growth, for economic growth in the country.
The speed to raise money from the debt capital market has to become swift, probably to see the banking sector as the competitor rather than the federal government.
It's yet another recovery for the local stock market today as investors get set for the final trading day in September. But what are we to expect after Friday's session? Chimeze will tell us.
Hello and welcome to the Stock Market Report. Gains posted by 5 of the most capitalized companies on the Nigerian bourse pushed key market indices today. The all-share index closed a stronger 0.93%, a second session advance in the final week of September. The proposed multi-billion naira right issues by Lafarge Africa also added fillip to market sentiments. Higher volume and value were recorded as investors trade 346.2 million shares valued at nearly 4 billion naira in more than 3,000 transactions. Today's highest gainer was Fitson, up 10.19%, while salt maker Nascon lost the most by 8.24%. Friday is the last trading day for the week and the month of September, wrapping up the third quarter of a bullish 2017 at the Nigerian Stock Exchange. And that was the Stock Market Report. I'm Chimeze Obi Iwago.
Global markets are still riding on the cherry news of the long-awaited U.S. tax reform plan, but that excludes Asian markets, which ended Thursday's session with a mixed performance. That's business news. Thank you so much for watching. I'm Melinda Akinwami.
You first. First Bank.
Thanks, Melinda. Still ahead on the news at 10, Nigeria Football Federation disqualifies Abia Angels from the 2017 ITO Cup competition for fielding an ineligible player against Conference Queens. That's on sports. Stay with us.